Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. I am a dangerous runner. I've come across that quote many times in my life, and I've always liked it. Now, if you don't know who said that, it was Calvin Coolidge, who was our 30th president. And the reason I like it so much, it just says you don't need natural ability, you don't need education. To be a successful runner, you just need to be persistent, just like many things in life. But how do you get that persistence? How do you keep on out there training and doing the things we need to do to be successful? How do you define success in a running life? And I have some suggestions on how to do that today. So one of the keys to persistence is motivation. What drives you to do anything that you do, especially running? Now, there's a couple ways you can look at that. One interesting way to attack motivation is look at what are you losing or what are you giving up by not being persistent, by not being out there and running. And it may vary depending on your situation. But the key thing for motivation is really have a goal out there. What would you like to do? What would you like to accomplish? I get a lot of comments on my running channel about people who said they ran their first half marathon or their first 5K and they're so excited about it. And that's kind of what says in that quote. They didn't accomplish that because they had this natural running ability. No, they accomplished it because they were persistent. So you need to find that goal out there, that motivation. Doesn't have to be a race. Could be a race. Races are great goals. Train for that and getting excited to doing that race. It could be something else, like achieving a distance. Maybe you've never run 5 miles or 10 miles. You want to go do that. Could be a health benefit. Maybe you're trying to lower your blood pressure or raise your HDL, the good cholesterol, and you want to start an exercise program you want to run. But find that motivation. So one key thing about motivation and goals is dream big, but start small. In other words, don't make your first race a marathon if you've never run before. Start with a 5K or a 10K. So starting those incremental steps and build up to that. And you're persistent. If you're persistent in your training, you'll achieve that goal. So find that motivation, find that driving factor. Now, the next key thing in being persistent is having an action plan or a plan. You've got that goal, you've got that motivation. Maybe you want to, for example, raise your HDL, you want to run a half marathon. You need a plan. So you need to go out and either find a training plan. There's lots of them out there. If you're a run, walk, run person, go to Jeff Galloway's website. There's lots of training plans, or develop your own plan, but you have that plan because that plan is what you want to be persistent about. You want to achieve those running intervals, those running days, those running miles. That's the persistence you need to achieve to meet your goal. So have a plan, create it, go find it, but have that action plan ready. Now, another concept to cultivate to help you with your persistence is something called a mastermind group. I first ran across this concept maybe 35 years ago when I was reading books by Napoleon Hill. He's kind of a self-help guru, one of the early ones. And he always talked about having a mastermind group, which is a group of like-minded people who are either an experts in your field or very knowledgeable in your field or what you're trying to accomplish. So in running, we can do that either through running groups, or you can do it through running channels like mine. You can pose questions or, ask questions and see what other people are doing. But having a mastermind group or running group is very helpful. Now, my daughter, who is also a runner, she actually joined an online running group. It was kind of a Harry Potter theme group because she's into Harry Potter, and she's actually learned quite a bit. But the other thing she gets is a lot of motivation from that group because they're always cheering each other on, always trying to motivate each other. In fact, she's actually become friends with several of them and actually run races with them. So find your mastermind group. That can really help with your persistence. Now, most successful runners or successful people in any field know you have to have some level of self-discipline. Motivation only gets you so far. Motivation or training for a race, having a goal, will only get you so far. You got to have some self-discipline. You got to get out there and do it, even though maybe you're not quite motivated or feeling like doing it today. So cultivate your self-discipline. Kind of get your plan, have your goal out there, get your plan, and make yourself stick to that plan. A little bit of self-discipline really helps with persistence. Now, I don't know if any of you are like me. I lost a lot of weight. I don't know, about a dozen years ago, I lost over 30 pounds. And I only accomplished that because I got in the groove and I was persistent and had that self-discipline at that time. And so persistence and self-discipline go hand in hand. So cultivate that self-discipline. Now, the last thing I want to talk about related to persistence is don't be afraid to start over. In other words, you've got your goal, you're training your training plan, but something comes up and you just can't finish it, you don't make your goal, well, don't fret over it. Don't feel bad about it. It's okay to start over. You keep working on this persistence thing. You take a break and you start back up again. I've had about a 3-week break here. I've had to have some eye surgery, had a cold, and I've not run in 3 weeks, maybe almost 4. But I'll get back at it. I know that persistence in my own culture, my personal culture will kick in, and I'll get back at it and get my mileage back up there. So don't be afraid if you have to stop or you have to take a break or you just feel a little dejected. It's okay to start over. That persistence, you can keep working at it all the time, and you'll eventually make it part of your self-culture. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please scroll down and hit those like icon. You don't know how much those likes help me, but they help me a lot. And if you're new here, I'd love to have you stick around. Please hit that subscribe button. In any event, thanks for watching and happy running.